Something in this week for Jem and Amy. And if you haven't met me before, you might notice I've been on maternity leave, coming back, so easing back into things. And what better way to ease back into things than with the product updates and just diving straight in. Having 4 months away from product updates and then coming back, you'd think it would be really overwhelming, but actually, it's been okay. It's been okay. So
I
we've
found
got
it bad
some.
enough after a week.
I know, but I feel like when you've gone away for a long time and you come back, you can really prioritize which ones are actually going to make a difference and which ones are just those little itty bitty ones. Um, Let me share my screen and we can get going with the August updates. So, oh no, that's not right. I've been away from technology for a little while, baby brain. Cool. So we have got lots of updates with 2 minutes past. So I think we should just get started and dive right in. If you've got any questions throughout, pop them in the chat. We'll try and answer if we can. And then at the end, we'll go back over everything. And there's a little ask us anything section at the end. Hopefully we've got time. Lots of updates to get through. So I think, Chris, you're going to kick us off.
Yes, I am. But we can't show you this because I don't have ChatGPT connected to our test portal at the moment. I've got Claude connected to it and something else. But big thing is the HubSpot Connect for ChatGPT, and it actually means that you've got access to the deep research. So play around with it. You can start to ask questions about your data. And you know that it's really all about thinking about how sophisticated you can get with your prompts, learning how to ask the right questions, and you can dig deep into your data. And it's another really good excuse to have good, clean data, so that ChatGPT is working with good stuff, not rubbish.
Absolutely, and that is live across all hubs. So you can go and have a look at that one. This one, so the IP derived visitor country segmentation in buyer intent, which is such a mouthful, but basically all this means is that if you're using the buyer intent within Breeze, which I can show you because I got it up. You can now segment via the visitor country, but instead of it being like the headquarters country of that company, it's actually based on the IP address of the visitor. So it's just a lot more specific. And it means that if you're targeting lots and lots of different regions with different services or products, etc., it doesn't matter if that company has a headquarters in the UK. If they're in the US, they might have a different product, and your sales team can kind of target them a lot better, a lot more kind of niche in that way. So IP addresses, let's come to buyer intent.
Useful stuff. And this is actually much bigger news than it looks like. We have a new standard sandbox with pre-production metadata, but for me, most importantly, deploy to production. It's not all the way there yet. It's still improving, but basically, some of you, the more technical minded amongst you, will know that HubSpot's never actually truly had a true sandbox in the real sense of the word. Now we do, and the ability to build in sandbox and then deploy to production just takes hours out of your day. You're no longer doing something twice. So if you've got an enterprise hub and you've got a sandbox, you can start to experiment with the various assets that you're able to build and to deploy. So really nice one there.
But unfortunately, it's only enterprise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they've got to reserve some of the good stuff for the enterprise subscriptions, haven't they? Creating campaign and list calculator properties, which I think there is so much scope for this one. As a marketer, it's really interesting because sometimes you can't do everything within HubSpot. You've had to take some calculations offline. So for instance, with this, you can create a calculated property that is going to look at how much campaign spend you have spent and then how much the budget was, and you can see the kind of gap in between. And it's the same as if you're creating any properties, any calculated properties. You're just going to the settings and creating the property kind of all normally there. You just say that it's a campaign property rather than the concept properties and things. But it's so much scope. I feel like there's a lot of ways that you can play around with this, potentially looking at like ROI calculations and things like that. So I'll be playing around a lot with that this week, I think. And it is live, so you can all go and have a look, and it's across all hubs as well. So this one's for everyone.
I've definitely been waiting for that one. I think we will.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal the share and we're going to have a look at this one, which is conditional display logic in all CRM cards. This now, the other thing is that so there is an update that I'm going to talk about later, which actually there's two updates that I might talk about later, but one definitely that's fairly big that if anyone notices what it is, I'm not going to mention what it is, but if you notice it, stick it in the chat pane. But this one is conditional logic everywhere. You can customize your records directly from the button, and here's one to actually look out for because it's slightly difficult. It's a little bit frustrating to find because when you want to edit something, you kind of go in here and you go, okay, there's no conditional stuff. So what you're looking for is your three dots, and you've got set conditional logic. So let's say, I don't know, I want to set conditional logic based on to make this card appear. I can select my property and I can select my operator, and then I can select the option, and then I can decide to hide or show. Potentially, this means that you actually need to almost go through an exercise with your teams, a workshop. What do they need to see at each stage of the journey? What properties do we need to have to track the journey? Do we need to sort out the life cycle stages? But what it means is that everybody gets to see what they need to see and do what they need to do, but without the clutter. So I think this is really, really powerful, really nice update. And we'd love to know maybe next week how everybody gets on with it.
It can be really overwhelming knowing what you want to see. And I think that's where a lot of times CRMs fail, in that they're showing too much. There's too much on show, and that's going to really, really help.
I think a lot of the time, the people that decide what it should look like aren't the people that are using it. So if that's you listening at home, then think about talking to the people that use the system about what's going to help them to be more productive, and you'll get something really decent.
Next up is the target accounts. So I think this is you again. Do you need to share your screen for this one?
Yeah, let's. I should have kept that one on. So target accounts, it's this thing that's kind of hidden away, and a lot of people don't realize it's even there at all. First and foremost, target accounts is now available via the sales tab, so we can actually get at it now. And they've revamped the area. So we, in this case, test portal 318 target accounts. We can see open deals, open deal value. And I would have a suspicion that this will change in the way that the sales dashboard stats have changed. So you'll be able to perhaps have a little bit of control over this.
Customize what you can see.
Yeah. You will, and you've also got activities. So we've got deeper reporting off the bat, and we've got filters. So again, the thing that nobody ever thinks of is list-based filters. Build your lists, and you can start to filter by sector, whatever's going on. So have a look at the new target accounts functionality. It's really nice, very useful. You can easily choose your target accounts. You can filter. You've got a little bit of wiggle room, and you've also got your three target accounts tiers. So you've got is a target account true or false, and then target account tier 1, 2, and 3. Don't forget that you can also create additional properties to support that. So use the sector, use the IP country, whatever it happens to be, but useful feature that you can really help your teams with.
And this is in beta at the moment, isn't it? So there's I think something that we always try and ask everyone to do is to give feedback to make it even better. So you can see at the top of Chris's screen there, they do actually really like to hear feedback, and they do change it based on that, don't they?
And you'll actually find if you were to, I've done this as well, which is to just record a screen share of a new feature saying, well, I like this, I think this should move. drop your video in there, and typically the product team will see it, and they're genuinely interested in feedback. They want to know what you think of what they're doing, and they really like interacting. So give them feedback is always a good idea.
Cool. I'm going to steal the screen again, if I may, Chris.
All yours.
It's still on you. Thank you. So we are on video library. So if you are a marketer, which I think some of you are, looking at who's here, then you'll know that the documents and the file section is always a bit of a mess in a HubSpot portal. I feel like no matter how organized you are, it just becomes a bit of a mess. So they've actually separated out the videos from the files, which is so helpful because it looks a little bit like this now. So you'll see move out the way.
There's AI Chris there.
There is. This is our test portal, so there's a lot of random videos in here that we just use. Actually, most of them are Chris, but you'll see obviously it's got the little beta tag, and it just is a lot neater to try and find everything rather than going to your files and getting lost. This is a whole separate section on the Content Hub, and I feel like this section is just going to get built out potentially. There's going to be a huge focus on video, so hopefully this will get even better. But for now, there's a whole video library now. And then next up, do you need to screen for this one?
Yeah, I'm going to show a little bit of stuff. I can't, it's a little bit wafty, but okay, so there we go. So anybody that's using HubSpot for sales, you'll be familiar with this new thing that you can see. Also, you might not have known that you can do this. Lots of people didn't. But this particular update, we're using conversation intelligence in deal scoring. So when you go into your open deals, you're looking at the score, and we're seeing, let's sort by, there's some deals with no score at all. But this has got 86% close, and we've got engagement. Now, if you're using HubSpot calling and your team are recording their calls, all of those calls are then being transcribed. We've got keywords that we're looking out for, and that is now being used with this update. Those conversations are being used in our deal scoring. So, if there's a lot of negative words or things are not obviously sounding good, then that will actually be translated into the score. So something again,
so cool.
It's really cool. I don't, it's not going to be something to risk the farm on, as they say, but I think over time it's going to get really powerful because it will understand what gives it, what shows that your deals are likely to close or not close. So nice update.
Am
I giving it back to you now? I'll give it
back
to you
anyway. Thank you very much. Perfect. So healthy and unhealthy lists in the email health tool as well. So I quite like this one. So if you go into your marketing emails, again, this is our Babel test. So everything's kind of a bit of a mess. And then into the health tab, what you'll see now, this should be populated with lots of stats in your portal, but obviously in our test portal, we don't send emails, so there's not a lot here. But if you scroll down, what you'll find here and here in this new section, is going to be a list of the high performing contacts and low performing contacts, and it will basically break it out and tell you exactly why they think it's high performing and why they think it's low performing, how many times they bounce. There's 5 different criteria that they use, and they'll actually break that out so you can see and understand why those contacts aren't performing very well, and you can do something about it. You can get rid of them, clean up your data, that kind of thing, relook at your email strategy and things. So this should appear in your portal. Obviously, there are nothing in this one because we don't have high or low performing contacts because we don't send emails from the test portal, but you should have something in yours. So have a look and see if it's helpful or not. But I think that's going to help save you pulling loads of lists of bounce contacts and things regularly, because it will just be here all the time.
Yeah, no, I like that as well. I think it's always good to know who we should be sending emails to at any given time, because I think some people want them once a month and they'll still buy stuff. Some people need 3 a day. Um,
And I think what's really, it will save people from pulling loads of lists, because nothing is worse than having 5 exclusion lists in
yeah.
your portal for different reasons. This is going to help streamline that a
Or
little.
trying to work out those criteria. We want people that have not interacted with the last 10 emails and haven't talked to sales, and it becomes very stressful and
Yeah,
complicated.
exactly.
Flexible CRM views. So I'm going to share my screen for this, I think, because this is interesting. There's a whole load of stuff going into this this update, but for example, you'll see here I'm actually in a company's view at the moment, and I've got new ways I can look at things. So I can look at the table view. I can look at a board view, so I can see my companies by life cycle stage. Ever more reason to sort out life cycle stages, use lists, automate, because you can see what's going on. But we've also then got report views that we can create. We can see an unsummarized and a summarized data set. It's really nice in terms of just creating different ways for the team to see things. And we've got all of the things that we had before, but it's just a little bit crisper. It's a little bit cleaner. And once you're going into the records again, you've got the new record format, which is it's just easier to look at. It doesn't, you can declutter. It doesn't hurt your eyes quite as much, and we can get at the sections we want. Combine that with the conditional stuff that we talked about earlier, and you've got a CRM that the team are really going to lean into.
I like that. I think HubSpot are really good at targeting how different people see things. Like, there's always the option for changing how you view things, because nobody processes the information the same, do they?
No, I think that's the thing. It's just solving for the user is so much easier now.
And help desk ticket timeline as well is on that. So in the same way that on deals and contacts and companies, you have a timeline of activity. Basically, they've just moved this over to the help desk tickets as well. So you can just see that timeline of activities. It just is bringing that UI across the whole of the portal. So I won't go into that, because you'll have seen it across companies, etc. before. So we'll move on to Chris. I think you're going to talk about this, and this was big. I think when
I was going to say, I'm really
released.
surprised that you divvied this one up to me.
I know,
actually.
I should have taken this one.
Bridget we might ask Bridget to talk us through this, but one of the things that we keep being asked for, I think, especially from the marketers, is the ability to report deeper on forms. So I'm now in the report builder. And again, this portal has lots of new stuff in it, so it looks potentially slightly different. But we're choosing our data sources. This is available in the custom report builder rather than single object. So let's say contacts, and you'll see I've now got, actually there's CTAs as well, but I've got form submissions and analytics. So this gives us the ability to start pulling out form data. So Bridget, why is this important? What's exciting about this?
You could just never do this before. And it's just understanding how each form is performing. That was a bit of a mouthful for some reason. And you just didn't have that much insight into it before. And you just had to create lists, and there was so much work around to be able to do it. And now you can just do it directly in the report builder. You can build out so much from here.
It's nice, isn't it? I think being able to sort of get at some of the UTM details, though obviously not from Google PMax campaigns, which I've learned a lot about this week. It's coming. But yeah, it's depth of reporting, being able to see what's happening with those forms. And I think it also means it makes it much easier to lean into, having less forms, not getting into that trap of creating a form per page.
Yeah.
Have a form, hide the fields you don't want, and then you can report on form submissions, and you can filter it by where people are submitting the forms.
I think before you always had to build lists out to be able to do this kind of thing. So you'd have like 1 million lists. Again, this is another update that's just going to keep those lists a bit cleaner. But I think everybody's quite excited about that. And it feels like something that should have been around, but it wasn't. But now it is. So we won't complain.
We like it.
We like it. Thank you, HubSpot. Again, something else, the website pages and the landing pages, they've just had a bit of an update when it comes to the analyze tab. So no, they always had analyze on there, but it was based on per page. And now you can look at kind of landing pages and website pages as a whole. And again, it's the same UI that you're getting across the whole portal. So you'll know how to use it straight away, which is really, really helpful. But it just pulls in really helpful forms, not forms, that's a form report. It kind of pulls that all in, and you can then segment it down by the different pages as well if you want to do that. But it's good to just have an overview of how all of your landing pages are doing, how all of your website pages are doing in one place, and then you can filter down specifically by page or whatever you need to kind of filter on as well. So that's just kind of been revamped.
Don't click out of there. Just stay where you are, and we'll get you to show. We're going to try this. So did anyone notice the update that I kind of talked about? I think Laura put it in the chat pane. But if you go up to your Babel test drop down, so can you see anything new there?
I got excited and went to
you get excited and this is just because it's quite nice to see the change. So if you click there, this for anyone that wonders, it's a per person update. Now I think one of the things that's worth mentioning is this has been designed for visibility as opposed to people who want a weird shade of cyan or a odd shade of blue in their portal. They've actually put quite a lot of work into this because a lot of the comments I've had on a post I put about this were, we want dark theme, and I know we all want dark theme, but I think this is solving for visibility. When I first turned it on,
accessibility kind of update, yeah.
So yeah, and what's your first impression, Bridget, with just having turned it on? What do you think?
It doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel that different. I mean, I like it because it's a bit more pink.
What do we think in the chat, people on the webinar? Let us know what you think about it. I found I hated it for 2 days, and now I quite like it. So it kind of grows on you.
It reminds me of, when your printer runs out of ink.
Yeah.
And that's what it does for me. But I feel like for people that actually need it, and it's going to help with their accessibility, that's who it's for. It's not maybe for me and you. But I might keep it. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, well, there we go. That's why I thought it'd be because you're going to do the next thing, so I thought you may as well keep it. Right, you can have your next one.
What are we on next? So we've done the theme, and it's the campaign goals. So this is a really I know we've only got 5 minutes left, so this is a really quick one that I can show you. So in campaigns, basically you can now specify which goals you want specifically. So I've already set it up here, but it will pull in reports for you to show you where you are on your goals. So if I go back to a campaign to show you actually how to do it. So you'll have created your campaign, and then you go in and add the goal, which is annoying. You kind of want to do it as you create the campaign, but hopefully that changes. And it gives you a bunch of pre-made campaigns goals. So let's say we want to generate marketing qualified leads. You can click that, and then you can say the frequency for that. So is it going to be single, monthly, quarterly, yearly, etc. And you can also say when it's going to end. And then you can say how many you need to hit. So let's say we need to hit 6. That's now going to report on that within the campaigns tab as well. So it's going to create that here. So I think this is across all portals now. So really helpful if you're a marketer.
Just quickly, the answer to Dave's question, it should be available. You can turn on the beta for the new color scheme. You'd have to turn it on in the beta turning on area, for want of a better word, then hit refresh. With everything in HubSpot, if something's not appearing, hit refresh a couple of times and you'll get it, hopefully. What are we talking about next? We are renaming HubSpot defined objects. We have touched on this, and it just basically, for those of you, let's say if you grew up with Salesforce and your whole company is really into calling them opportunities, and for some reason can't just get their head around a slightly different word for something, then you can rename them as opportunities. If you want to call your contacts people, then you can do that. So you can rename the HubSpot defined objects as well as naming your own custom objects. But I think there's a caveat there that just make sure if you're going to rename them that everybody knows what they're being renamed to and why.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should, basically.
100%.
Favorite phase. Favorite phase. Just a quick one. In the Remix tool, if you're using Content Hub, you can now use custom drag and drop email templates. They're just expanding the different types of assets that you can use. I know that Google Docs and things are coming with that as well. So they're just expanding out this one. Just one to look at.
Right. We have got, actually, we've got a couple of minutes. I'm going to just dip into this just because it's interesting.
We'll quickly show this one.
For anybody that is using the prospecting agent, I know a lot of people aren't, but we've just got more. So we'll probably do a whole webinar on this at some point, I would imagine. But what we basically now have is when we're setting up our agent, so we're giving it its identity, tone, all of these sort of things. We can now build in our guardrails, but we've also got advanced settings, so we can actually use our AI prompting skills to kind of build out custom instructions and to add them, so be helpful and professional, be sarcastic and abusive in all communications.
Please don't do that.
No, we're not advocating
we don't
that,
recommend that.
But I think it just gives you you've just got a little bit more power in the prospecting agent, and I fully expect this to be beefed up further, especially come about 2 weeks time when inbound happens and they're going to launch all the new stuff. So if you're not using it, have a look. You don't have to turn it on, and you do have the ability to make it semi-autonomous, but it's good. It doesn't mean you're going to fire your sales team, though, I think is the key there.
We've just got a couple more to go through, so I'm just going to skim through them. So migrating your existing knowledge base. This is for those who joined and are on the old knowledge base. Basically, you can now migrate it all over. So very easy. So have a look at doing that. You just get a whole bunch of new customization on the new knowledge base that they've got. Quickly just run through this. You can add active contact list campaigns. That I don't feel like it needs much more explaining than that. Not a massive one, but helpful. And you can do Instagram direct messaging in social inbox now. So you've always kind of been able to access Instagram, obviously, but now you can actually do direct messaging, which is helpful, I know. And then Chris, last one.
The last one is just your association. Again, probably we've got people on here who are experienced enough to know how to do this, but it's when we're looking at the deals table in the sales workspace, we can actually add the association. So instead of just seeing a deal, you can see the associated contact company, whatever other object you want to track. So go and have a look at that. It's quite nice, useful. Again, what do people need to do? What do they need to see? Take everything else away.
Cool. And Chris has mentioned inbound already. So that's in 2 weeks, I believe. You'll be flying off to San Francisco, not to sell us at all. But we will be doing a HubSpot adoption user group when that's all done, and talking about what updates have come out of it and what they mean and how you can get your team to adopt them, and what it kind of all means for adoption. So let me pop the link in for that into the chat.
Sophisticated power of sophistication.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I have to get out of it. And we are at time, so I'm not sure if we've got much time for Ask Us Anything, but if you want to drop us over any questions that you might have, or message us on LinkedIn about any of these updates that we've had, then we'll be more than happy to answer for you, and we'll send the recording
and again,
out too.
any feedback on the new format where we're doing half an hour every 2 weeks rather than an hour every month? I think it seems to be working well. I like it more, but do let us know. Feedback, the Breakfast of Champions, and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this has been great. So we shall see you all in 2 weeks' time. Great. Right. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.